Hello. In this first video dealing with suggestions that I'd like to share with teachers regarding the use of the different lessons of the ULAT, I'd like to point out that first of all, this video doesn't deal with a lesson at all. It actually applies to suggestions I might have for the first day of class, because that first day is quite important, is it not? It's a day in which you present yourself, you present your motivation for language learning, and some of the experiences you've had that have made the learning of the language you're teaching so valuable to you. You find out about the students' motivations for studying or their lack of motivation for studying the language that you're presenting to them. You set up procedures. You share with them your classroom expectations for behavior, etc. So the first day kind of sets a tone for the rest of the year. And maybe some of these suggestions will be helpful to you as you think about how you want to approach that first day. First of all, I want to point out that these videos correspond to each individual lesson, but a lesson is not necessarily one day of class. The duration of lessons varies. Some lessons may only take 20 to 25 minutes to present. Others you may deal with for 2, 3, 4 days. And so you need to check the content of each lesson before you determine exactly how many lessons you're going to cover in the course of a class, of course. The variation is going to depend also on the rate at which your students are progressing, the age of your students, the length of your class period. And so you remain the artist who designs the class, the school year. Nothing is laid out here in concrete. Now, I should point out nonetheless that there is a regular sequence within the ULAT, which would be helpful for you to be aware of. The lessons are typically presented in terms of pairs. The first lesson is one in which a concept is presented. It could be a grammatical structure, it could be a vocabulary topic, whatever it happens to be. The key is that it presents this concept to the students in the proper fashion, in a fashion that's going to allow them to develop what I referred to in the videos you may have seen at the beginning of the teacher's manual as a two-step thought process, going from the level of a concept in the student's mind directly to the target language, as opposed to the unwieldy five-step process that passes through the native language of the student as well as through text, or I should say words in printed form. We want to avoid that at all cost. And so this first lesson in the pair presents a concept in the proper fashion, in a fashion which is visual and auditory. The students hear sound associated with what they see, but does not in any way employ the native language, nor, especially in the first year, have any recourse whatsoever to the printed word. So that's the first lesson, and it may well be that in the first lesson of the pair may only take 15, 20, 25 minutes for you to present, for the students to grasp the concept that's being presented to them. However, the second lesson in the pair is the drilling lesson, and it's one in which the students have a chance to practice the particular structure or the vocabulary topic at great length at home, on the screen in front of the classroom. If you have a computer lab, or if they have tablets or computers in the classroom, a place where they can do some extended drilling so that you're developing what I refer to in the teacher's manual as linguistic reflexes in the student. And then invariably the second lesson in the pair will terminate by, we'll finish with a test. And that test is something which you would probably present, depends, 3-4 days after the initial concept has been presented, once they've had the chance to sufficiently reinforce in their own minds the structure of vocabulary you're presenting. So that's the most typical presentation within the ULAT of a new concept or structure. So on the first day of class, one thing you're going to want to do definitely is to establish a seating chart. Now I say definitely. I'm tipping my hand a little bit already. Oral participation is so important. And if you saw the 4 videos, especially the 4th one at the beginning of the teacher's manual, you saw me talk about how I keep records regarding oral participation. Having a structured seating chart will make that task much simpler. Let me just show you really quickly where that a typical seating chart could be found within the teacher's manual. We'll go down to Teacher Resources, and you see right here the seating chart and record keeping spreadsheet. I'll open it up for you, and there you see one particular spreadsheet that you could use. And again, if you go to the videos at the beginning of the of the teacher's manual, you can see exactly how to, or hear exactly how to use this spreadsheet. Additionally, if we go just below that to oral participation evaluation spreadsheet, we're going to click there and open this very extensive but very easy to use spreadsheet. It shows you how you might keep records of all forms of student behavior, from the negative to the positive. And this again is explained in the fourth video in the 4-video series at the beginning of the teacher's manual. I've written my own personal presentation regarding what I believe is the ideal classroom atmosphere to ensure student academic achievement. I call this bit of writing "Creating a Classroom Atmosphere of Dynamic Tension," and you'll find this located in the Teacher Resources section. The very last item, here you see it. As you go through it, you'll find there are 5 elements which I believe need to be properly handled if one is to maximize student achievement in class. The first of those deals with the teacher's persona, behavioral expectations, pace of instruction and interaction with students, student accountability, and personalizing the curriculum. You may totally dislike and reject my notions here. You may want to adopt some of them for yourself, and maybe you'll be totally in agreement. But in any case, I think this could be something enriching for you to consider before the school year starts. You want on the first day talk about motivation, about the things which moved you to want to pursue fluency in this language that you're presenting. Some of the experiences that you've had, which the students will find intriguing, motivating, hopefully, and which will encourage them to want to share with you experiences that they or their parents may have had with a second language or a third language. Then, very important, in the first day, you need to deal with the issue of what is genuine fluency. And again, I would refer you to the first video, because it has a lot to say on that very topic. Genuine fluency is often watered down in the minds of our students. They'll say, yeah, my dad speaks Spanish fluently, and he studied it in high school for 2 years. Students really don't tend to have a point of reference unless they come from another ethnic group for which a second language is the native language. They typically don't have a good concept of what really is fluent speech. And so this is important that they understand, well, how demanding is the process of acquiring fluency in a second or third language. Because otherwise there will be, if they don't understand what true fluency is and how challenging it is to attain, they may not necessarily be as willing to adapt to some of the expectations that the ULAT has, some of the techniques that the ULAT uses to try and train within the students this 2-step process as opposed to a 5-step process of thought. And then last of all, how is fluency attained? Video 2 talks about this at great length. Video 2 talks about the natural language acquisition sequence. That can be good, not so much for you to present to them because it's much too extensive, much too lengthy, but it'd be good for you to take a look at, to give you some ideas concerning how you could explain to the students how the ULAT forms this 2-step thought process in their minds. And I'll show you again where these are located. If you go back to the teacher's manual of the ULAT, the very top of the teacher's manual, you have 4 different videos, each of which have something to offer, and especially the first 2 on the first day of class. Not so much that you do not want to show them these videos. These are for your benefit, to give you some thoughts to share with the student about what can impede fluency and what is genuine fluency and how can it be attained. I hope these thoughts are helpful. In the future, these videos will be far more brief, but this first day of class, I thought that these are pretty important things we need to lay out, and I hope they're useful to you.